Black male Secret Service agent charged in near-fatal hazing with canes and paddles that led to victims' kidney failure. This story I'm going to call Dumb and Dumber. This is a story about college university fraternity hazing, hazing to join a college fraternity. So let's get into it. Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. Well, as you all know, as I stated, I called this particular story Dumb and Dumber based on what the perpetrator's age is and what he did for a living. Also, the victim's age and what he was doing for a living. So you have a Secret Service agent who was the Dean of Pledges at this University of Miami Kappa Alpha Psi chapter house and one of the victims that led to this criminal complaint. This victim who was pledging this fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, was a law student. So you got a Secret Service agent that's to serve and protect, and you got a guy that's in law school, that's bright enough to get in law school, attending law school. For those that don't know, University of Miami is a private institution. It's not a state public school. It's very hard to get into. Definitely in the undergrad and for sure in the graduate programs, whether it's medicine, law, or whatever. So the victim was a law student, so he should know better and do better. The same as the perpetrator in this alleged criminal complaint was a Secret Service agent. So you're talking about hypocrisy all the way around. So let's get into the story. Marquez Christopher Pender, 29, is a U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to the Miami field office. Employed there since September 2023. He's been placed on administrative leave, and the Secret Service says is fully cooperating with the investigation. He's also identified in an arrest warrant as a Dean of Pledges for a Miami area chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, nickname called the Kappas or Pretty Boys, along with two others were charged alongside him. Gerard Lamar James, 26, and Elijah Delano Doyce, 29. And just for clarity purposes, I want to tell you that I am a member of Omega Psi Phi, the Q Dogs. I went over 39 years ago, almost 40 years ago, with my other three line brothers, Damon, Dave, and William. So I know all about this fraternity hazing stuff. As I say, I'll be a member of Omega Psi Phi 40 years next year. I was never a proponent of physical hazing or beating somebody. Omegas are known for the paddles. Kappas are known for the canes. And I guess these guys did a combination of both. My father is also a Q, so I was a legacy Q. I think my dad went over in 61 or 63. In Illinois, and I'm also a member of Nu Chi, the East St. Louis chapter of Omega Psi Phi. So I just want to be clear there. But I've never been a proponent of whooping or beating somebody to join an organization. There are all other kind of ways you can have them working out physically, whether it's push-ups, doing all kinds of other things, but just beating an protected young man that's trying to join the organization never made any sense to me. And for some reason in black fraternities, it's always been about this physical hazing, and then in the white fraternities, it's always been about the drinking. And both white and black fraternities, you'll have black people that are pledging that end up dying. Pledging a black fraternity generally is from getting physically beat. And typically in white fraternities, you'll have kids that are pledging and they would overdose from drinking or have some kind of drinking, too much drinking consumption that causes their death. So you got that duality between black and white and how these so-called criminal complaints come about. So it happens in both black and white fraternities. So the allegations, the Miami-Dade prosecutor said in an investigation uncovered evidence of alleged hazing incidents involving prolonged and repeated beatings with canes and paddles, which began on April 1st inside an apartment at Identity Miami in Sweetwater, Florida, and continued through April 2nd through April 3rd. So there was like a 3 or 4 day hazing session where these pledges were getting beat with canes and paddles. And they're saying that this Marquez Christopher Pender, 29 years old, the Secret Service agent, was the dean of pledges and was spearheading this hazing incident. And so it happened at the same location over 3 or 4 days. Officials said a failure to say the reason that these guys got hazed, and this one guy in particular, the law student, officers say the reason he got beat so bad was he failed to correctly answer questions about the fraternity, allegedly is what led to the beating. So we have these books, and everybody that's a fraternity or sorority member, you have to memorize and regurgitate a bunch of information. Evidently this guy's in law school, so he's already got his brain filled with all kind of other legal graduate school stuff, and then somebody can ask one specific question in a book that's 300 pages and you might not know the answer. Anyway, that's what led to him getting beat. He didn't know all of his history, so to speak, about the fraternity he was joining. So the victim, here's where it's hypocritical and it's a little bit goofy when I call it Dumb and Dumber. Dumb on the Secret Service agent who's 29, almost 30 years old. He's not even in the age category of being in college. What is he doing? And he's a Secret Service agent. When does he have time to run a fraternity chapter house, be the dean of pledges, and be a Secret Service agent? And to be a black Secret Service agent at the age of 29 with a past military history, that's something to be applauded about, to be happy about, not to tear down. You build this up over 20-some years, ex-military, Secret Service, and then in one failed instance, one poor decision, you lose all of it. So one victim was a University of Miami grad student, an undergrad at University of Miami. He was an undergrad when he attended the interest group meetings to join Kappa Alpha Psi. Now he's a law student and a member of the alumni chapter. And the second victim is currently employed by the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So you got on this line, this pledge line, you got a law student and you got a guy who is part of the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. This is all about helping they're in both professions, trying to go to become a lawyer, fire rescue, and then the dean of pledges who these accusations are against. He's a Secret Service agent. All of these people on the side of serving and protecting, but in the light, but in the dark, they're harming each other. Dumb. Injuries were so severe or severe enough that police said they could have been fatal if untreated. Victims, they could have been fatal. The injuries were so severe that if they didn't go to the hospital, and this is how it got exposed, it could have been fatal. They say victim was urinating blood. The victim's backside was bleeding through his underwear. Remember, this went on for 2 to 3 days. And many of these fraternities, including mine, have a history of that. As I said, I pledged 40 years ago. My dad pledged 60 years ago. Back in my dad's time, he would pledge for 9 months. So one victim required a skin graft and suffered kidney damage, while the other needed a breathing tube. I'm going to say it again. They're pledging a college fraternity, or even if it's a grad chapter. It's people in their early 20s. But they beat these guys so bad that one victim required skin grafts. And he suffered kidney damage, while another one needed a breathing tube. That means he couldn't breathe on his own. That's ICU, that's critical care. How do you do that to somebody that wants to join your organization? is completely inhumane. So charges and legal status, all three men face attempted manslaughter, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and hazing with a deadly weapon. Secret Service agent Pender appeared before Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Mindy Glazer, who set his bond at $75,000, ordered him on house arrest with a GPS monitor, and barred him from contact with the co-defendants and victims. Now, here's the other piece. This is all about culture. It's black fraternities and the history we have here. And now, him being a Secret Service, he's in a white employment situation or a career path as a Secret Service agent. Not a lot of black Secret Service agents. Then he's going to go in front of this judge, Mindy Glazer, and I saw the video on her. She's a white female or Hispanic person. She has no idea about the cultural norms or the cultural disnorms of our black hazing of in fraternities and what's going on. She's looking at this docket and thinking this is the most egregious, draconian behavior that she's probably ever heard of. She has no idea. And if they go in front of 12 jurors in Dade County, Miami-Dade County, where you have all kind of cultures, Cuban, Dominican, white, Venezuelan, black, Jamaican, a lot of these people have no idea about this black American culture thing with these fraternities. These guys, they're not gonna get off on this, and then let alone the hypocrisy of him being a Secret Service agent, and he's the dean of pledges, so he's spearheading this hazing that's going on. This is a lose-lose. He is going to have to plead out. Of course, he's going to lose his job. So they set his bond at $75,000. Secret Service agent Pender was released after posting bond and faces arraignment on September 24th. The University of Miami has stressed Pender is not affiliated with the university or its undergraduate Kappa Alpha Psi chapter, so this must have been a grad chapter. His attorney, Justin Beckham, called the charges grossly overcharged and said Penders served honorably in the military and the Secret Service. This is terrible. So just for clarity purposes, for people that don't know, hazing is illegal in the state of Florida. And there are 5 historically black male college fraternities. So you got Omega Psi Phi, which I belong to, Alpha Phi Alpha, which Dr. Martin Luther King belonged to, Kappa Alpha Psi, which this story is about, Phi Beta Sigma, and other notables that have been accused of Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Jesse Jackson.